Okay. So, the last time we spoke about the James Cameron 4K saga, I teased that I was actually going to go ahead and look at Avatar: The Way of Water in 4K. I was going to go ahead and look at the original Avatar in 4K. My hand can't hold this nicely in one palm grip. The original Avatar 4K and the gorgeous 4K restoration of True Lies on the floor where it belongs. And you know, I planned to get a video out, kind of following up on that. And I was looking at True Lies, and I was just like, it's fucking terrible. It's worse than I thought. How can I even begin to approach talking about this? And then there was more. Oh, there was more, and we'll get there. We'll get there. Just give me time, okay? We're gonna go back to that. We're in an interlude situation right now. Before I talk about True Lies and Avatar and The Way of Water in 4K, there was rumblings, of course. 1984, the classic James Cameron film, The Terminator. We're in 2024, 40th anniversary, 40 fucking years since that film came out. Seems like it would be a nice little earner to get the old, re-release on the go. Maybe a 4K restoration. A few little links go up on HMV and some of the usual retailers that there's a 4K release coming. Okay, it's coming. Well, maybe just fingers crossed. Cameron isn't going to be involved with this one. There was a release of the Terminator from, I think, 2012 or 2013, and I have the Steelbook edition here, which is a gorgeous piece. I mean, just take a look at the steelbook there and some of the embossing on the title. It's a very nice release, and came from MGM. I'm not sure about all the ins and outs of ownership and who has the rights to the film and everything, but MGM, for all intents and purposes, were kind of the major studio that kind of were behind this version of the film, the restoration. And I don't know if it holds up as much as it did then 10 years ago, but this is an incredible transfer. I mean, you can see Arnold Schwarzenegger's actual schlong just, flapping and toing and froing in between his gargantuan Austrian thighs in that opening sequence of the film when he walks up to the punks. It's, there's definite, definite penisage there on display. If you're looking, if that sort of thing appeals to you. But I'm just saying, the detail on this thing, the grain, is beautiful. And I just find myself wishing that all the Cameron films look like this on Blu-ray. But it was okay, Aliens is pretty good on Blu-ray, and Titanic has a very good transfer on Blu-ray, and all good. Avatar even has a great transfer on Blu-ray. But it's just those pesky ones that were left off the Blu-ray cycle for some reason, and skipped a generation or two and ended up being 4K releases, and we all know what happened there. And I will have to go back and talk about that a little bit next time. But for part 2 of this James Cameron 4K saga within my Cameron King of the World special edition series, we have to talk about the Terminator in 4K. Because that Blu-ray of the Terminator, which looks great and has grain and, doesn't have excessive DNR. Although I've heard some people say that does have DNR in it and stuff, but I don't know the ins and outs again. Don't come to me for your specificity when it comes to all the technical details and who owns which and all that kind of stuff and everything else in between. I would actually suggest and highly recommend going to Damn Fool Idealistic Crusaders channel if you want that kind of proper, well-researched sound information on pretty much just about anything. But I can say that we now have confirmation. Because when that restoration of the Terminator took place about 10 years ago, they screened it. And I remember there was an interview with James Cameron. He'd gone along to one of the screenings, I think in LA, and they said, "What did you think, seeing it on the big screen again?" And he's like, "Well,
I don't like the sort of textural quality of the film anymore from a photographic standpoint and effects and all that. It's just films are so much better now.
And we know this. We know Cameron doesn't like grain, and that's why the Terminator, or Terminator 2, I should say, has been completely smoothed over, both on the Blu-ray and then the eventual 4K remaster, which is just an abomination, really. And I've not even talked about that properly before. Maybe we'll throw that into the. Maybe I'll punish myself and buy the Terminator 2 4K. I'm not going to do that. There's just no way. I'm standing firm, same as Aliens. I'm never going to buy that 4K unless it's like bargain bin prices and I can just buy it to burn it or something. And yes, I'm exaggerating to a certain degree for comedic value here, and whether or not you find the comedic value of a video like this actually funny. I mean, the mileage is going to vary depending on who you are, but all underneath this is real, genuine sentiment. I'm telling you. Zero world problem, absolutely, but it's something I really feel passionately about, and I just feel like this. I don't want to even say a trend. It's becoming a fucking standard now. Is just wrong, because we're now seeing it happen even further afield than just James Cameron and Peter Jackson and the Park Road Post. Although maybe they're involved in this as well, I don't know. But there have been screenshots of Jaws 3D in 4K, and I mean, just look at this. I mean, that is telltale bad AI upscaling technology right there. It just takes clumpy bits of detail and tries to imagine what that person might look like. When that was meant to be out of focus, that was meant to be a background, extra in a movie that is never supposed to be held up to close scrutiny. And now the AI algorithm is like, well, this needs to be in sharp focus, and we need to figure out what this person looks like. And you get these abominations that don't look like real people. And that is actually on the 4K disc of Jaws 3D. And there's people saying, well, you're never going to see it that close anyway. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that it's there that's an issue, right? Even if this AI upscaling technology was able to make a film look so much more detailed and everything else in between, I still wouldn't agree with it because it's fake. You're applying a fake fucking layer over something. Films should be as they were. Art should be as it was. If you have a director who wants to come in and change something, that's one thing. But when they just take what was there before and they try and pass it off as the same thing, but it has been changed, and it has been smoothed over with a layer of artificial digital pixels, I think that's wrong. That's just the way it is. But the Terminator, okay, coming out in 4K, maybe because Cameron didn't have an involvement in the Blu-ray, he won't have an involvement in the 4K because of the rights, and we'll get a really gorgeous, true 4K from the original negative scan of, a really beautiful, grainy, kind of organic, grimy film that just, the transfer on that Blu-ray is so great because it suits the rough and ready feel of that movie. But no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. There's been an announcement by Park Circus. The Terminator 40th anniversary re-release announced. Park Circus is delighted to share a brand new poster for the Terminator, exclusively revealed by Letterboxd. The sci-fi classic celebrates its major 40th anniversary with a stunning new... Feels like this is designed to push my buttons. A stunning new 4K restoration. Really bugs me when they call this shit restoration, because it isn't. It's the opposite, right? A stunning new 4K restoration supervised by director James Cameron. and is returning to cinemas across the US and Canada from the 25th of July and the UK and Ireland from 30th of August 2024. Cheers, Jim. Love your work. 40th anniversary restoration from a 4K film scan of the 35mm negative and a new Dolby Atmos mix with final sound and picture approved by director James Cameron, presented by Park Circus with thanks to MGM. Post House. Sorry. Gag reflex. Post House. Park Road Post. Oh, fuck. So, Park Road Post. Yes. The brilliant people at Park Road Post. I mean, I hope they pay them well, and I hope they sleep well at night knowing that they're, that they're doing this. The classic films. What a service. What a service to cinema, eh? Huh? Yeah, so Park Road Post have got their filthy, dirty, grubbing fingers all over the Terminator, and we'll no doubt see some really artificially sharpened and accentuated details on a 1980s classic. This was a public service announcement, and my only real advice is hold on to your fucking Blu-ray of the Terminator, and if you don't have this one, get this one. And then rip it and salvage all the data on it in case your disc dies in 20 years, because this is the last ever official release of the real version of the Terminator, because what you're going to see later on in the year is a version of the film where all that grain has been wiped away, and then where that detail was removed, an AI algorithm has added it back into the film. And so what may appear on the surface to be like, oh wow, it's so sharp, and the colors and the vibrancy is really just desecrating the film itself. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't like how when I take a picture on my phone, it post-processes it. Unless you turn that off, it's becoming such a part of our lives now that, the precedent has been set. And I talked about that in the last one, but, I was hoping that it would be at least confined to like the small circle of James Cameron and Peter Jackson. But no, this random universal release of Jaws 3D in 4K has even worse AI upscaling in it. So, I mean, it's just a matter of time now. I mean, it's really just the boutiques left that we can trust. But I learnt recently of another boutique label who are doing AI upscaling. There are kind of fan-funded, Kickstarter style restoration projects for like old silent movies, and fans who get hold of prints and they restore them in 4K and release them on Blu-ray, and then people donate to put their name in the credits and stuff. And I think that stuff is really worthwhile for film preservation and film history. Not so much when I realized that most of those projects are done with AI upscaling, and it's really bad. And one of those companies in particular has got a pretty bad reputation because of it. I just don't get the obsession, because the results aren't that good anyway. And when you see something that's blurry and out of focus or whatever, and it's a background extra in a scene, it's meant to be that way, or it's a minor flaw that is inherent to this piece of art that was created and should be left that way. Once you start tinkering around with things like that, and let's just see if the AI can bring up the detail and 100 feet in the background of this shot. our eyes are not supposed to be looking in that direction and picking out those details, you know. And you can argue that I'm just being so pedantic by even caring, but I just think it ain't worth it. It's the quick and easy way. And yeah, shame on all of you who did this and continue to do this and will continue to do this, because it's cheaper, it's easier, and you don't care about what you're doing to really works of art. You can argue the validity of that and whether or not the Terminator is a work of art that's worth preserving, but I think it is. But it shouldn't matter. Godfather, Citizen Kane, The Terminator, Jaws 3D. They're all films, they're all part of film history, and they should be preserved in the most authentic way possible that holds on to the integrity of the image, the way that it was shown, you know. And you can argue that even cleaning up films for restoration's sake is altering them from the way they were seen in cinemas, and maybe there's an argument to be made for that too, but there's a delicate way to do it, there's an organic way to do it, and then there's an inorganic way to do it, which is AI upscaling, AI algorithm kind of texturing and painting over things that I just think is bollocks, really. It's all bollocks. Anyway, look forward to your fancy overpriced Terminator 4K discs that look like shit. And I would advise not buying them, because if there's 3 words that make my blood leave that in for free. If there's 3 words that make my blood run cold, it's Park Road Post. Fucking hell. No more is it to say. No more is it to say. It reminds me of the great meme that Cameron transfers. They look like rubber. They were easy to spot at first. You know, it's just like, how ironic, you know. The film that's literally about AI kind of ruining everything and trying to create something that is organic and real and has texture to it that you can touch and feel, but really underneath it all is just fake. I mean, it writes itself, the irony, you know. It's beautiful and it's terrible all at once. I just wanted to let you all know we now have confirmation. Cameron, and mostly I would say Park Road Post, I have a feeling he just hands it off to them and kind of goes, wow, look, it looks like it was shot yesterday by a fucking maniac. And then, you know, carries on with the Avatar films, which I love. So it's not even like that's a diss. Like, oh, he's off doing his stupid blue alien movies. I love them. I love the Avatar films. It's the dichotomy of being a James Cameron fan and loathing what he has done or allowed to be done with his films that have been released on home video in recent years. Anyway, not really a great way to wrap this up. So I'll just say goodbye for now, and I'll see you next time when I try and gather my thoughts about the 4K releases I do have and tell you the story about why I even have them. So thank you for watching. Stay vigilant out there, and I'll see you next time.